Well, welcome back, everybody. We have three more games in the afternoon session for you. First game featuring what's becoming a famous Scrabble matchup, Jackson Smylie and Josh Sokol. And Josh asked me to point out that this is the deciding game in their head-to-head series. These two have played each other 86 times now in NASPA tournaments, and the head-to-head record between them, 42, 42, and 2. So that's as close as it could possibly be. And somebody will likely pull ahead in this one unless we get another tie, in which case, well, there'd be three ties between them. That's kind of nuts. So we are underway. Josh to play first. These, by the way, are the only two 9-2 players left in the division. Josh now 6 vowels and a Q. QI is a play he can make. He can also exchange. And then if he exchanges, is he going to hold on to QU and some vowels or not? Crucially, the I in QI would have given Jackson donation. I think everybody and their dog would say it's not good to hold 5 vowels here. But an interesting decision by Josh holding EIQU. And I agree with that decision, actually.
I like that. I like that. The QU goes well together. You need an eye for good synergy, and we can see he's already picked up some really good things.
So again, Jackson doesn't know how big this decision is on 2 versus Ono. It looks like he's favoring on 2 here, which in a vacuum I think is right. But knowing exactly what Josh has, definitely a big decision. And if you're rooting for Josh, you want that T played. If you're rooting for Jackson, you don't. Jackson back and forwards, pushes the T aside, picks it back up, pushes it aside. And eventually now he is going to play it on 2 coming down, 8 points. And that is going to give Josh the bingo back. Chat's already found it. I'll shout it out now. Pause the video if you don't want it spoiled. But here it comes.
It is coming down. Wow, immediately. This man has done his studying. Josh Sokol, as we have all known, has been doing absolutely beautifully on his games. He's been winning games and tournaments just back and forth. And for him to come down with Sequitur just immediately goes to show the amount of dedication and preparation he's put into coming to this, the most amount of points. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him trying to make something through the queue. But yes, we see updating going down, and that is quite decisive and his very much his highest scoring play here.
Yeah, and Josh drawing a great post bingo draw, AAEIRVW, which has a 7-letter word. You can play the same word to the S in Sequitur right now. So Josh to bingo back. But if you see airwave as a double-double, you'll certainly see the bingo as well. No doubt in my mind that Josh knows and sees this word as, yes, it comes down now. And Jackson's
almost
post bingo draw, BERRTT, and giving us a little Andy Huang style suspense. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. He's got it.
Oh, wow.
Oh. So
the tiles were barely on. Oh, wow.
Brady are coming down 149 for Jackson. I want to say the last time these two played, a triple was also played, but they've played so many times, they all run together. So exchange 8, bingo, 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 amazing. And then triple for Jackson. Goodness. And Jackson didn't even put the last tile on his rack.
I guess he's, I guess he's really praying to the right tile gods, whoever they are. We have to ask him what he's been doing to get so lucky.
Yes,
Both
absolutely.
of them just back to back. This was so far an explosive game, just as we expected.
And Jackson going to bingo again next turn as he picks up the second blank. So blank bingo, triple, and another blank bingo coming for Jackson more than likely next turn. Josh's turn, though, he's got to do his best on this move as well. ABEFKLM. Looks like his highest scoring option here is B flag. Plays to the G. 45 points. Holds KM, not super great, but 45 points, man, nothing to sneeze at. Keeps this board wide open as well. He also can consider Fleam, FLEAM, a top underneath Bradier. That scores 41, but Beflag or Fleam, almost certainly the thing to do. Josh just wants to see how open do I want this board and how scared am I of holding that KM together.
There's a time when your word knowledge, your preparation really comes in handy, and we can see Josh going down with Beflag. So he, he's done his preparation. He knows he's going to go for the points, keep that KM, and just do it. Just get it out of the way.
Yep, and so B Flag knocking out the higher scoring of Jackson's available bingos. He still has one bingo that does play on the next turn for 66 points. I'm certain he's going to see it.
And we see it coming down. No hesitation. These guys know what they're doing. They've studied their words. This is a game of just pure skill.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they know exactly what to do. These haven't been particularly tough turns. If you know the word, you
I
definitely
would
play the
agree.
word. But also, you have to know the words. You have to have the anagramming to do it. Josh kind of shaking his head back and forwards. Okay, Jackson, you can stop now, please, please. We've
and
got
yet
to.
the scores remain not too far apart, about 100 points now. Sokol just being 101 points behind, he can come back with a good hefty scoring play. Something like just milk would be a good idea, making ki, I think, tripling that k both ways. Just something as simple as that is going to put him back in the game.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just so many places to look. Like both players are very high on time for this stage of the game. Only 49 tiles unseen already, even though we've only had a few moves. That's what happens when you play 7 tiles almost every turn. But yeah, no, milk is something Josh will see. It's just you really want to take your time, make sure you find every option, and then choose the best one from them. And just so many options.
Might not be a bad idea here, because just well, he goes down with milk just because I think that it might be a great idea to have that K for the other scoring spots on this board, but that's okay. Milk is a high scoring, I think his highest scoring play. So I am not surprised at all to see that come down.
Hey, so yeah, as it was mentioned in the stream, the play of UMM is very interesting for 27 instead of 36. Dropping 9 points immediately, and I'm not getting those points back initially next turn. But because I'm leaving myself with DIKL, which is just so much more workable than DMU, the U is just a terrible tile, I will potentially be making up the points that I'm giving up immediately in the next 2 or 3 turns, just because I'll have more workable tiles. So this is definitely another candidate move, and Simulation thinks it's very close between Milk and UMM.
Given that Josh can't bingo underneath, I think I have a slight preference to just jangle, try to draw like an F or a P and hit more points again the next turn. But really, I think it could go either way on this one. And Jackson electing to play the R there, staring at it. No, no. Okay, he's hit his clock. I
Yeah,
think
there's
it could go
something.
either way.
Right. I
Though
think
I
I would have preferred to play Django as well, or perhaps just jog because I really like the leave there. But I think this is perfectly fine. He's going for, his highest scoring play here. He's doing what he needs to do to stay ahead. And that is what you will usually see with these top players.
so yeah,
And
Josh gonna
Mirror
go with
does come
Murid
down.
here. I like this idea.
Perfectly fine play. Yeah.
Yeah, perfectly fine play, keeps his long-term chances open, and he'll be reliant on
And
drawing a bingo pretty quickly to get back in this game. But of course, that's the case when you're down over 100 points.
Yeah, another tough position here. Again, I wasn't a huge fan of Murid. Um, I felt like opening this D on the O column was really just a red herring. It wasn't actually going to be very useful. And yeah, if Jackson ever has the X, he's just gonna score super well. I was behind enough where I really had to worry about just Jackson having an X, and that's exactly what happened. Um, so it's possible something uh, instead of mirrored is better. I actually thought a lot about mirrored to actually play the E instead of the I, just to not give back the same X spots, the same X spot, and because there are lots of E's unseen and not that many I's unseen. But that play performs poorly in a simulation, so it's probably not correct. I never saw the play of D-Gum, which is very interesting, but yeah, just giving a free triple, or 2 triples even, Jackson can just afford to play through the R. He doesn't really mind that M is open. Um, so yeah, a difficult decision, and because there are so few vowels left, among 39 unseen letters, only I think 15 were vowels. So the play of drum scoring the same as Murid is also a candidate option. Just proving again that like whatever letter I put here on the 15 O spot is not actually a huge deal, and I should maybe keep or hold on to a vowel with lots of consonants coming my way.
That's game over. I've knocked out many of the best spots. I've scored a ton of points, and that C is going to stop us from working to the top side of the board. It's a bit of a stretch to draw one of those 4 O's, but it could be an absolute game changer. Jackson, though, I think making a perfectly reasonable decision here. You don't want Josh to bingo down to that D. You score a bunch of points, and you hold tiles that are going to score well for you next turn. EX, I think, is the right thing to do. Zen, very cute, likely wrong. But yeah, good choice by Jackson. And Josh needing to draw a bingo, not even close now. AEHHORV. I don't know how many times you can do HHV, but yeah, not often.
This is a tough play. I mean, perhaps just getting rid of OH somewhere, perhaps like OH on column N, just, JOOH. He gives himself that triple lane again. Perhaps something like that. I mean, Josh really does need to be aggressive here. He really does need to open up chances on this board where he can come back with a bingo that's going to score pretty well. I mean, a 66-point bingo is not what he needs right now. He needs something that's 70 or 80 points, So maybe OH, which scores perfectly, fine, it's 35 points. That's quite decent. Would not be a terrible idea, keeping AEHRV.
Yeah, you have to keep this board alive to have any life. The sequitur spot, you don't have it now, but 3 unseen S's, you can assume more or less you're going to draw one. And if you don't, you're going to lose this game anyway. So exactly. I think OH is a great way to keep this board open for one more turn while scoring 35 and keeping yourself quite in bingo range. Yeah, there are 6 unseen E's. Yeah, Jackson's probably going to block that line. But if you don't give him a new line to block, he's just going to block the lines that you're trying to bingo in the process. So OH seems like a good play. Ooh. That's sneaky. You wouldn't think to play down. You would think to hit that big glowing red.
Exactly.
And yet, I like that play quite a bit. Jackson, though, playing Cess here.
Perfectly safe and perfectly reasonable. A good scoring play that blocks your biggest threat. I completely understand why he would do this.
And even should Josh bingo, you use that Z to score points. You're already up 110. Josh's best bingos will score about 90 for him. You hit the Z, you're still at 40 or 50. It's likely your game to lose. So it's hard to lose after a play like that. Maybe says a missed opportunity. Maybe not. I'm not good enough to tell you these answers. Jackson and Josh are the only players in the room who are. So I'll defer to him and his wisdom. But I thought that was sneaky. SEZ, nice find, Nits.
Thank you. What do you think about playing Warv for Josh now? I mean, you suggested it earlier. That appears to be Haven coming down. Okay.
You know why he's playing this. He is setting
I was wondering.
He is setting up the final S. He doesn't have it, but hey, if Jackson knocks out the sequitur spot, Josh needs another one, and you have to assume you're getting lucky to win this game. You've got to draw that S, or you're dead anyway. Jackson could also consider PHIZ through the H. That's another way to spot.
I like that. That's great.
It's just if you're trying to score points, you don't want to hold on to AALN necessarily, because if you draw all 1-pointers, no bingos, how do I outrun you when my letters don't give me any points next turn?
Exactly. These are all 1-point tiles. Perhaps keeping the P in this case would be smarter, but we do see Lazar come down. I like it. I think this is a good play. Maybe Izar, as you mentioned, may have been slightly better, but this is a perfectly, smart play for Jackson to have put down.
And if Yearlong comes down,
then Josh Sokol is the favorite with the S. Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. So showing us how to stay alive here. Get tripled on bingo, bango, bongo with the triple, and yet Josh definitely with a fighting chance. This will put him down 396 to 442 as Jackson sitting on a Drecky Rack CFINPTW. Hang on, folks. If Josh draws an S bingo here, this is going to be really interesting.
That would be quite the game. Already an extremely high scoring game with Josh Sokol at 396 and Jackson at 442, I imagine. And Oh, he's got whipped already ready on his rack. I believe that's one of his highest scoring plays through the H in Haven that would attempt to stop those S bingos. I think that's a good idea.
You know what? I'm too impatient for this. I want to make the point I'm trying to make. The answer is 0. There are no 7s in the unseen pool. The only possible bingos Josh could have drawn are Beduins from the B for 86 or Idonius through the N for 61. So actually, while it looks super obvious Jackson must block Shaven to win this game, that is not a threat. That is not a concern. It is impossible with what is in the bag. And Jackson likely going to take some time, figure this out. And you can see he's looking now instead at Waft. He can't be beaten by a Shaven bingo because he can't be beaten by something that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I don't think being under the camera and the limelight is the easiest for everyone. I think it's easy to make mistakes when you're under the pressure of knowing, okay, everyone is looking at what I'm doing. I think, yeah, Waft is it's a strategic play. He gets it down. And now it's up to Josh to see what he can do.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this, and I think this is quite instructional for everybody at home. It's so easy to make the play of whipped there. It makes perfect sense. It's wrong. And Jackson, one of the few players who's going to sit there, think all of this out, figure out worst case scenario, and stop it from happening. Very, very few players make that play. Jackson won. I bet Josh sitting across the table is one of the only other ones who would likely go that far and that in depth with their analysis. And yet stuff like this is very important. This is the reason these guys are 9-2 and nobody else is. Would that be enough to win? Yao would put me down by 23 points. Depose would score very well. Jackson would have to forego a lot of points to block it. And then maybe I can threaten a second out somewhere. Is there any way that sequence helps me win? But if I determine that I'm 0% to win this game no matter what, then what's the point? Let me just minimize spread. Let me play Yao.
Right.
Again, the play of Waft, I think, can give Josh just an absolute boatload of information. Or maybe he's hoping Jackson derped and made a mistake. He's going to play AYE here, go for maybe a potential bingo I can draw. That makes sense. Again, from Jackson's perspective, we know there was nothing. That's why he didn't block. But Josh has to hope maybe Jackson missed one or something. You play to win the game. That makes sense.
Right, so this is the most important move of the game. Because I'm down by 66 points, I can't afford to play something like YE here just to leave more stuff open like this N. I'm just not going to ever score enough for that to be worth doing. So yeah, definitely need to play the YE here. The problem is Jackson's last play signals a lot of things. It makes my chances a lot worse than they seem. He probably has 2 or 3 consonants with that play. And he's blocking the B rather than blocking this shaven hook. So why is he doing that? I was worried he had all 4 consonants. I was worried he had CNNP, which, I mean, it's terrible for him, but it means I can't draw anything that I need. The draws that I need require at least 1 consonant. But if we actually look at my 7 letters plus 5 of the 9 unseen letters from Jackson's perspective. I know you don't see them right here, but there are actually a lot of bingos from the B, and a lot of those bingos do not double as 7 letter words, which is also very surprising. What that means is that a play like Bedouins, which Jackson was blocking from his perspective, I don't have a 7-letter word with that rack. So there are actually a lot of potential words like that. So from my perspective, I would need to look at my 7 letters plus use any of the 5 of the 9 unseen letters from my perspective here to go through all of the options that could exist from the B. And there are actually a lot of those. Bicuspid, bioscope, bioscopy, just to name a few. And most of those do not double, once again, as words ending in S. So I can probably assume from here that I still do have a chance. I actually wanted to give up and play YOWE. That never wins. It's just not. It's just never winning. Of course, I can threaten things with Shaven, but he's just going to block them. I'm never gonna outscore 66 points here, even though it was so many. But yeah, I can actually assume that I could maybe draw what I want. Like there could be another N in the pool. It could be. It's pretty unlikely, but it could be. So I could draw into depones. I could draw into episode. These are things that play in 2 spots. So it's still possible to win this game, and I'm glad I didn't give up. But yeah, a lot of the time, things like episode depones, they're not really available because he is still choosing to block a B rather than both 7's lane ending in S and the 2 row. So it's quite likely that there are very few things from his perspective, if not none, that play with Shaven, which was indeed the case. There were no bingos. Jackson did a formidable job at figuring out what the threats were. Idenius is never going to win me the game. It's only 61 points. And I'm down 66 points. So if I score 61 now, I'm done. He just scores in the end game. And if I don't threaten Idenius, he's just going to block it, because that's the only bingo remaining after he plays Waft and blocks Bedouins. So great calculation, or great, basically, calculation by Jackson. Great anagramming skills. And I knew I was pretty screwed in this position.
But what a neat game. Both of these players showing us the game's not over until the game is over. It's easy to throw in the towel after you get hit with Brattier and 2 blank bingos for Josh. And yet he did everything he could, kept this board open and dynamic, kept himself in reach, Myriad a great play, Haven a super cool play to create chances for him when many players, I think, would have thrown in the towel in this instance.
Exactly.
So just an absolute clinic. A lot to be learned from both of these players and the way they played. And that is precisely why they're sitting here.
It just really goes to show the caliber of the players who are at this tournament. This is, this tournament is made up of the best of the best. This is why they're there.
Absolutely. Yep. And that's why y'all are here watching this as well. And that's why we're here to stream it, because this is a gift, man. This is some excellent high level Scrabble. And I'm glad y'all are here to share it with us. Yep. I know Josh, a little bit of spread lost, I think, here by Jackson on that end game. Chin, definitely not the top choice of Quackle, but it's fine. It's a little bit spread in a game that Jackson has used almost all of his time, and I think he used the time in the proper places here as well.
PIE won quite decisively. Wow.
Actually, PIE sticks Jackson with the U. So Josh can actually play for a U stick here. The only spot Jackson can go out is NU or UM, both right next to updating. So Josh can just plunk his E, making either EM or NE, and slow play this end game as Jackson will be forced to pass. So neat. See if Josh thinks of that. He's definitely taking his time on this turn as well, looking for places Jackson can play that U. Jackson definitely missed playing this end game.
It's okay. He used his brains when he needed to, and he blocked Bedouins. He made sure there were no bingos that could go down. He did his due diligence.
Yeah, so Josh now, I think he's going to take the time. I think he'll find the stick. He's giggling about it. Jackson, did you stick yourself? Yes. Do I play it here? Do I play it there? They both score 4. But Josh is going to find the Q stick, leave Jackson at a nice, firm 500 points, and Josh will nibble his way up. It won't quite be enough, but it will bring him very, very close. He can drop his E down for 20 points with WE and EF, putting him at 476. And then the D is also going to be able to go down for some points as well. So this is going to be actually a very close game for Josh after Jackson sticks himself. DAHS available for 11 on top of IOG.
Oh my gosh.
So Josh is actually going to be able to make this an 11-point game. I love it.
Of course, he does the secretary. Oh my gosh.
Of course. Jackson can't,
He can't do anything.
Josh not even getting up to go to the computer. Yeah, why not? It is free. Absolutely free to try this play. Jackson forced to pass. I wouldn't be surprised if we see D-Jangler next turn or Year Longed. Why not? It's
This
free.
is very much for the entertainment of the viewers. So I hope you guys are enjoying this because now we just
Yeah, thank you for the content, Josh. He'll plunk the E, Jackson to pass again, and let's see D sequitur, just D sequitur this time, Josh. Give us more content. Get up, take your long, slow walk over to the computer. Give us more content. Do it for the meme. Do it for the trolls. Just kidding. So Josh, down to 18 seconds, looking for the best place to plunk the D. He has found it, and wow. We're going to end up with a score of 489 to 500.
wow.
As you can see, Jackson immediately looking things up on his phone, or perhaps Josh on that was. As
You've
Scrabble
had
players
those moments, haven't
frequently
you?
do.
Like,
All right, we're going to see what Jackson and Josh are saying. We'll cut to our mic over the board. I'll quiet down for just a minute.
From my perspective, the only thing I saw was Idonius and Bedouins. I didn't see a single 7 in the pool. Yeah. So it's like, I don't really care if leaving 2 would let you fish, because I'm confident there's nothing. Because, yeah, of course.
Jackson saying the only things I saw were Bedouins and Idonius. Am I good at my job or what? Yeah, perfect.
Some weird 5 or 6 that like doesn't come up all the time.
Dude, so I accidentally drawn 6 instead of 7. I drawn these as you laid it down, and then I went for the 7th. I was like already hoping for the I. Like I drew 6 tiles, I accidentally didn't draw one.
And then the I was
and then,
7.
well, because then you started laying down the A, and I'm like, oh, I know I need an I immediately, and I drew the tile, and it's an I. So, insane.